Here I am back in Marlow Woods, this time with a different Brompton. The last time I had a G line, and this time I have the new electric C line with E-Motiq rear motor. I've only had the bike for a very short time, but I'm quite pleased so far, so I thought I might talk a little bit about it. The grips are much the same as they are on the G line, ergonomic grips, very comfortable. I have my standard quad lock clone phone mount, very handy. I much prefer the bell on the C line compared to the G line, which was only held into the handlebars with like a black rubber band. Now this is the controller, which is intuitive enough. It's a rocker switch, and I found that after a week of using it, a week and a bit, I picked up on how to use it fairly easily. The overall mileage seems to stay locked in even when you switch the battery off. One of my favorite features of the C Line E-Motiq is this boost button, which activated by the bottom right hand button, and then by holding down the rocker switch and pedaling, it gives you a real boost. Really useful when you're starting off from a hill. Another feature of the E-Motiq C Line is the mounting option on the handlebar stem, and I put in a fidlock mount. And this is the 450ml bottle, and I have to say I really like it because you can just remove it and you got the neat fold without the protruding bottle. So here's the battery bag that came with the bike, and it has this weird zip system for opening it, as I've demonstrated here on this earlier shot clip. It has a little bit of storage space, but as you can imagine, the battery takes up a good bit of it. So there's enough room in there for a kind of a small raincoat, maybe a water bottle. This is the waterproof cover that comes with the pack. And the other side is mostly space for stowing the strap for carrying the battery. It's a neat package, but if you want to carry extra stuff, then you might want to look at the basket bag. Now I bought this when I knew I was getting the C Line electric. And I have something similar on my standard C line, albeit there's more space because you don't have the battery taking up a considerable amount, which is the compartment by my left hand there. The battery is lifted out of the bag. It's quite simple. Your little handle here, and you press a button on the back and it just clicks out. And then it's a case of just lowering it into the basket bag or whichever other bag you happen to be using, and making sure that it clicks into place. And so you've storage. Now the caveat here is that the battery weighs around 2.35 kilos and the actual carrier block can take only 10 kilos. And here's the basket bag being used in shopping cart mode. A very handy feature of the Brompton, saves you having to push a shopping trolley around. So these are the bits that you won't find on a standard Brompton or on the older Brompton electric, and that's the rear motor, the E-Motiq motor. It's quite small but very quiet, and you have a 4-gear derailleur system at the back. So the first mistake I made was trying to change gears while parked at the traffic lights, and of course you can't do that with a derailleur system. I was thinking of the old hub system that I had on my standard C line. You see there the saddle, it's the same as on most Bromptons, very comfortable. The lighting system on the Brompton, you've got automatic on and off, and you can control it here on the battery, or you can control it from the handlebar control. The lights are nice and bright, and of course you have to have the battery switched on for them to be working. And we tested them out in the Ballyvoyle tunnel on the Waterford Greenway, and my daughter's cycling the bike there, and you can see that they're nice and bright, both front and rear light, so the driver should be able to see you clearly. So I think that's the whole situation covered here. You can switch the lights off on the handlebar control by holding it down, and you can actually see it changing there on the battery. So overall, I'm quite pleased with this bike. I've only put, I suppose, nearly 300 kilometers on it. The thing I find with it is that, I mean, it is the first electric bike I've had, and of course for an electric bike it's very expensive at 3,500 euros. But the thing about it is that you're inclined to go further. You know, it extends your range because you're not having to put in so much effort. You might go up that hill that you would be inclined to kind of miss out if you were going on a trip. This is so what I decided to do was, instead of heading home back the way I came, I decided to go through Cobh. And as it happens, there was one of the cruise ships in at the time. This is the Britannia. I can't remember the details, or it can fit a lot of people on it, and they go cruising around eating fine meals and being entertained. And Cobh is the last port of call of the Titanic, for those of you who know your history, your maritime history. And we have regular calls of ocean liners into Cobh. So moving from one very big boat to a slightly smaller one, this is the Cross River ferry from Cobh to Passage West. It takes just around 5 minutes, and for a one-way trip on a bike, it's €3. And according to the website, the ferry operates between 6:15 and 9:30 in the evening, Monday to Friday, and 6:30 to 9:30 Saturday and Sunday. And operates all year round apart from Christmas. The trips are regular, back and forth. It's only a 5-minute journey, like I said, so you won't have to wait long to get a ferry across, in either direction, of course. So this turned into a longer trip than I planned, but that's because I had an electric bike and I've had plenty of energy left. So I decided to head home via the Black Rock Passage West Greenway, which is very nice actually. So I took the opportunity to hop off the Greenway, and because you can take the Brompton inside the shop, I didn't need to lock it up. So I just wheeled it into Halfords in the Mountain Point Shopping Centre and grabbed a tube of slime, which I have used on Brompton since I first started getting them. Very easy, you just squirt it into the tube, and it protects your tyres for around 2 years. So my trip ended in the port of Cork City, not far from where I started off earlier that day in Cork, Kent's train station. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was riding an electric bicycle, I probably would not have made this longer journey, which was around 42 kilometers. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was a great day. The weather was great. And I'm pleased with my bicycle. And if you've made it this far, thanks for watching.